Alright, what's up, grade 7 students? So, for today's math lesson, we're going to be talking about fraction. Okay? So, what is this fraction that we have all probably heard of before, right? There's a common term that we hear when discussing about mathematical things. Okay? So, in basic terminology, a fraction basically means that when an object is divided into a number of equal parts, okay, those equal parts, are what you call fraction. Okay? So, from Merriam Webster, from the Merriam Webster dictionary, it states that a fraction is a part or amount of something. Okay? So, it's just basically pieces or parts of something whole. Alright? Okay, so here's what I just said. Okay, when an object is divided into a number of equal parts, then each part is called a fraction. Now, guys, it's very important that you take note of equal parts, okay? Because if it's not divided into equal parts, then you'll have a hard time, and you can't really call that fraction, can you? Now, we have an example of a fraction over here. It's a very, very basic fraction, okay? So we have 2 over 3, right? So in a basic fraction example like so, we have 3 parts. We have the numerator, which goes on top. We have the fraction bar and the denominator. Okay? The fraction bar is just there to specify that 2 and 3 are really not together. 2 is going to be over 3. Okay? So let's actually explain what a numerator and a denominator means, right? First up, we have the denominator. So the denominator says how many equal parts in the whole object we have. Alright? So the denominator will specify exactly how many equal parts we have in an object. As we have over here in the example, the circle that we have over here is divided into 2 segments, the left and the right. Okay? So the denominator will just be, okay, we'll just specify how many parts we have. Total parts. Okay, so everything, count everything. So we have 1 and 2, that's why our denominator is 2. Okay, now another example that we have here, how many equal parts are in this shape? So over here, if we are to solve this equation or this question, this simple question saying what is the denominator of this fraction, our answer would be 4, right? Because this rectangle is divided into 4 segments, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So our answer would be 1 over 4, okay? Since the denominator just shows us how many equal parts we have in our fraction, okay? So in your workbooks, I'd like you to try and solve these, okay? Try to find the denominators for each one of these. It's simple, but it's still good to practice. Alright, welcome back. Okay, so these were the answers. Okay, now let's discuss about the numerator. So the numerator says how many parts in the fraction. Okay, so this is what, for example, if we have a this square right over here, right? It's divided into 2 segments again, but one part is colored white and the other is colored blue. Right? So now one is specifying that one side is colored white, okay, and the other is just the same, okay, because we're using blue as our baseline. It means that this entire shape was blue, but then we colored one part of it white. That's why it became 1 over 2. right? So to have more examples, we have this. So how many equal parts are colored in this shape, right? So the simple question again, what is the numerator of this fraction? So if we're gonna base that we have a white box here that is divided into 4 segments, then we could say that 3 of the 4 boxes were colored blue. Then we can just write 3 over here. But if we have a blue box, right? If we have a blue box, then one box was colored white. Then we can write 1/4 over here, right? So here are more examples. Okay, so it's up to you to find the numerator for these fractions, right? And here are the answers. I hope you got them correct. Okay, so once again, okay, the numerator tells us how many parts we shaded or how many parts we took from the denominator, which means this is the total number of equal parts that we have in an object, right? Okay, so now another exercise for you guys. Try and solve each and every one of these fractions. Okay, so you have to find a fraction for these shapes. So that concludes part 1 of our lesson regarding fractions. See you all in part 2.